Listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you will change everything you thought you understood about that person who occupies your mind constantly. That name that surfaces the moment you wake up, that face you see behind your closed eyelids, that presence that fills every quiet moment of your day. You know exactly who I'm talking about. While everyone around you speaks of coincidences and brain chemistry, while psychologists reduce it to mere attachment patterns, something deeper stirs within you. A knowing that refuses to be silenced, because you feel it in your bones. This is not random. This constant presence in your thoughts carries a weight, a significance that transcends ordinary human connection. And you're absolutely right to trust that feeling. Right now, at this very moment, you're experiencing one of the most profound spiritual phenomena known to the chosen, the sacred link between souls that cannot be broken by distance, time, or even logic itself. This isn't obsession. This isn't weakness. This is your soul recognizing what your conscious mind has not yet fully understood. Let me be crystal clear. If someone occupies your thoughts relentlessly, if their energy permeates your awareness even when you're busy with mundane tasks, if you feel their presence like a tangible force in your chest, this is a divine signal. And before this moment ends, you will understand exactly what the universe is trying to tell you through this experience. The spiritual reality behind constant thought is something mainstream psychology refuses to acknowledge because it cannot be measured in laboratories or captured in brain scans. But the chosen have always known this truth. Thought is not confined to your skull. Thought is energy. And when your energy becomes entangled with another soul at the quantum level, separation becomes an illusion. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed that when you think about this person, certain physical sensations occur? A warmth spreading through your solar plexus, a tingling at the base of your skull, a pressure building behind your sternum. Your hands might feel suddenly cold while your face flushes hot. Sometimes your heart races without physical exertion. Other times, a profound calm washes over you like warm honey flowing through your veins. These are not random bodily reactions. These are proof points, verification that what's happening extends far beyond the mental realm into the physical and energetic dimensions of your being. Let me share something that will sound impossible until you verify it yourself. Every single time you think intensely about this person, they feel it, not consciously necessarily, but their energy field registers the contact. Their subconscious receives the transmission, and if they possess even a fraction of spiritual sensitivity, they experience an unexplained pull toward thoughts of you in return. This is what mystics call soul entanglement, a connection that exists beyond the five senses, operating through frequencies the ordinary mind cannot detect, but the awakened soul perceives with absolute clarity. Now, while others waste their time wondering if they're overthinking or being irrational, the chosen understand a deeper truth. The universe never makes mistakes with thought patterns. When someone dominates your mental landscape day after day, week after week, it's because your souls have unfinished spiritual business. But here's where it gets fascinating. There are 7 specific spiritual meanings behind this phenomenon, and each one reveals something crucial about your soul's journey. And by the time I've walked you through all 7, you'll recognize exactly which one applies to your situation, and more importantly, what action you must take next. The first spiritual meaning, soul recognition, across lifetimes. Close your eyes for a moment and remember the very first time you encountered this person. Not just saw them, but truly encountered them. That moment when your eyes met and something ancient stirred inside your chest. When time seemed to slow and speed up simultaneously. When you had the strangest sensation of remembering someone you'd never met before. That wasn't imagination. That was soul memory activating. The chosen understand what science is only beginning to grasp. Consciousness exists beyond the boundaries of a single lifetime. Your soul has lived countless iterations, walked countless paths, worn countless faces, and certain souls, rare, precious souls, have walked beside yours through multiple incarnations. When you cannot stop thinking about someone, when their presence in your mind feels as natural as breathing, it's often because you're not just meeting them for the first time in this life. You're reuniting with a soul you've known across centuries, across dimensions, across the vast expanse of existence itself. I want you to examine something specific right now. When you think about this person, do certain unexplainable emotions arise? A fierce protectiveness despite barely knowing them? An overwhelming sadness with no clear source? A joy so profound it brings tears to your eyes? These emotional responses that seem disproportionate to your current relationship are memories bleeding through from past connections. Maybe in another life, you were lovers separated by war. Perhaps you were siblings torn apart by tragedy. You might have been teacher and student, or warrior companions who fought side by side. The relationship form changes, but the soul bond remains eternal. And here's something that will give you goosebumps when you verify it. If you have recurring dreams about this person, especially dreams where you exist in different time periods, wearing different clothes, speaking different languages, those aren't fantasies. Those are soul memories surfacing. Your subconscious is showing you scenes from connections that transcended the limitations of any single lifetime. A woman once told me she couldn't stop thinking about her colleague, a married man she knew she shouldn't be drawn to. Every logical reason said to move on, but the thoughts persisted. Then one night, she dreamed of herself as a young woman in the 1800s, standing on a ship's deck watching a man in a naval uniform fade into the distance. The grief in the dream was so intense she woke up sobbing. She realized then her soul wasn't confused, it was remembering. They had been separated before. Her constant thoughts weren't weakness, they were her soul refusing to forget again. When souls recognize each other across lifetimes, the bond doesn't care about current circumstances, marital status, geographic distance, or social appropriateness. The soul simply knows, and it will not rest until the connection is acknowledged. If you're constantly thinking about someone, and every rational part of your mind says it makes no sense, that's precisely when you should trust it most. Because the rational mind operates on the surface level of this one life, but the soul sees the entire tapestry, every thread, every color, every pattern woven across infinite time. But soul recognition is just the first layer. There's something even more profound happening beneath the surface. The second spiritual meaning, telepathic soul bonding in real time. While the mainstream world debates whether telepathy exists, the chosen have already spent years living it. And here's what they know. Once two souls establish energetic entanglement, distance becomes meaningless. Thought becomes shared space. Let me describe something you've experienced but perhaps never fully understood. You're going about your day, maybe you're washing dishes, driving to work, or lying in bed, and suddenly this person floods your awareness with such intensity that your whole body responds. Your breath catches, your skin prickles. You feel them so vividly, it's as if they're standing right behind you. Then, within hours or sometimes days, they reach out, a text message, a phone call, an email, and they say something like, "I don't know why, but I felt like I needed to contact you." This is not coincidence. This is energetic transmission occurring through channels science has yet to map, but which the spiritually awakened navigate daily. Here's the mechanism. When you think about someone intensely, you're not just processing information in your brain. You're broadcasting energy on a specific frequency, their frequency. Your consciousness is reaching across the invisible web that connects all beings and touching their energy field directly. Now imagine this happening not once or twice, but constantly. Your thoughts become a sustained transmission. You're essentially keeping an open channel between your consciousness and theirs. And through this channel, information flows both ways. Have you noticed that you sometimes know things about this person you have no logical way of knowing? You sense when they're sad, even though they're miles away and haven't communicated. You feel their excitement before they share good news. You wake up at 3:17 a.m. with them on your mind, only to later discover they were awake at that exact time thinking of you. These aren't coincidences or lucky guesses. This is your consciousness accessing real-time information through the telepathic bond you've established. You're not imagining their emotional states. You're actually feeling them through energetic resonance. I'll give you a specific test you can perform right now that will prove this beyond doubt. The next time you're thinking intensely about this person, Notice what specific emotion or sensation dominates. Is it a tightness in your throat, a flutter in your stomach, a pressure behind your eyes? Whatever it is, make a note of it. The exact time, the precise sensation, the emotional tone. Then, when you next speak with this person, ask them what they were experiencing at that moment. You'll discover, perhaps to your shock, that they were feeling something remarkably similar. Maybe they don't describe it in identical words, but the emotional signature will match. This is verification of energetic exchange. The chosen know that thought itself is creative force. When you think about someone constantly, you're not just passively observing mental images. You're actively creating an energetic bridge between your consciousness and theirs. You're building a pathway through the quantum field that allows information, emotion, and even physical sensation to flow back and forth. But here's where it gets even more remarkable. This telepathic bonding doesn't just happen randomly between any two people. It requires a specific type of energetic compatibility, a matching frequency. Your soul doesn't form these bonds with everyone you meet, only with those who vibrate at a complementary rate. This is why you might know hundreds of people, but cannot stop thinking about this one person. It's not that they're better or more special than others. It's that your energy fields recognize each other as compatible broadcasting stations. You're tuned to the same channel, and once this channel opens, it stays open unless consciously closed through spiritual work. This is why breakups feel so devastating when telepathic bonds exist. You're not just losing the physical person. You're experiencing the severance of an energetic connection that has become as natural as your heartbeat. But telepathic bonding is still just preparation for something even more profound that's occurring beneath the surface of your awareness. The third spiritual meaning: you are being prepared for sacred union. Everything up until this moment has been leading to this revelation. And I need you to understand something crucial. The universe doesn't make you think about someone constantly as torture. It's not testing your patience or making you suffer for entertainment. The persistent presence of someone in your thoughts is preparation for a union that transcends ordinary relationships and enters the realm of the sacred. When you cannot stop thinking about someone, when their energy permeates your consciousness like morning light, filtering through window curtains, it's often because your soul is actively preparing you for a level of connection that will fundamentally alter your existence. This preparation happens in layers. First, the universe makes you obsess about this person so thoroughly that you cannot escape self-examination. Every thought of them becomes a mirror, reflecting aspects of yourself you've never fully acknowledged. Their strengths highlight your strengths. Their wounds resonate with your wounds. Their potential reminds you of your dormant capabilities. You're not just thinking about them. You're being shown yourself through the lens of their being. Let me paint you a scene you'll recognize immediately. You're lying in bed at night, and your mind is racing with thoughts of this person. You replay conversations. You imagine future scenarios. You analyze past interactions. Hours pass in what feels like minutes. Your logical mind says, "Stop this. Sleep. Be productive tomorrow." But you can't stop. Here's why. Your soul is running simulations. It's testing different frequencies, trying different energetic configurations, exploring possible timelines of connection. This isn't overthinking. It's your higher self doing advanced spiritual mathematics, calculating the probability fields of union. And each time you run through these mental scenarios, something shifts in your energy field. You become slightly different, more refined, more aligned with the frequency required for sacred union. Now, sacred union is not the same as ordinary relationship. Most people pair up through surface-level attraction, shared interests, convenient timing. These relationships serve their purpose, provide companionship, sometimes even happiness. But sacred union is different entirely. It's the meeting of two souls whose energies, when combined, create something greater than the sum of their parts. Sacred union is alchemical. It transforms both participants at the fundamental level of being. And the universe doesn't allow just anyone into these unions. It prepares you. It tests you. It makes sure you're ready for the intensity of what's coming. Here are the specific ways this preparation manifests. And if you're experiencing 3 or more of these, Your preparation is already well underway. You find yourself spontaneously healing old wounds related to past relationships. That ex you thought you'd never forgive. Suddenly, without trying, you feel neutrality toward them. The family trauma that shaped your attachment style, it surfaces for processing and release. You're being cleared of energetic debris, so you can enter the sacred union clean. Your standards are simultaneously rising and simplifying. You no longer care about superficial qualities in a partner. You're not looking at income, social status, or conventional attractiveness. But you've become uncompromising about energetic integrity. You can feel when someone is authentic or performing. You sense when their words match their energy, or when dissonance exists. This discernment is sharpening because sacred union requires energetic honesty. You experience waves of intense emotional purging, crying for no apparent reason, feeling rage at old injustices you thought you'd moved past, experiencing grief that seems to come from nowhere. This isn't depression, it's release. You're emptying your emotional vessel so it can hold the intensity of sacred union without cracking under pressure. You start receiving downloads of information about the union itself. Maybe you have recurring dreams where you and this person are together in a specific setting. Maybe you keep seeing number patterns, 1111, 222, 555, when thinking of them. Maybe songs play at meaningful moments with lyrics that speak directly to your situation. These are breadcrumbs from your higher self showing you the path. Your entire life starts rearranging itself. Jobs end or begin. Living situations change. Friendships reorganize. You're being moved, sometimes forcefully, into the position required for the sacred union to manifest in the physical realm. But here's something crucial you must understand. Sacred union doesn't always mean romantic partnership in the conventional sense. Sometimes it means deep spiritual friendship. Sometimes it means mentor-student dynamics that transform both people. Sometimes it means brief but profoundly impactful encounters that change life trajectories. The form matters less than the function. Two souls connecting at a level that elevates both toward their highest purpose. One man shared that he thought about his childhood friend constantly for 3 years. They hadn't spoken in decades. He assumed this meant they should be romantic partners, but when they finally reconnected, he discovered she had developed a healing modality that was exactly what he needed to process his own trauma. Their reunion wasn't romantic, it was medicinal. His soul knew she carried the key to his next level of evolution. The constant thoughts weren't about her as a person, they were about her as a catalyst for his transformation. If someone occupies your mental landscape relentlessly, ask yourself, what does this person represent that I need to embody? What qualities do they possess that I'm being called to develop? What wounds do they mirror that I need to heal? What potential do they activate that I've kept dormant? Sacred union preparation is never passive. You're being called to do the work now, before the union manifests, so that when it arrives, you're capable of sustaining its intensity. But preparation is only part of the equation. There's a darker aspect to constant thought that the chosen must also understand. The fourth spiritual meaning, karmic debt collection. Not every persistent thought pattern is pleasant destiny calling. Sometimes that person who fills your mind is there because you and they have unfinished karmic business, debts that must be balanced before either of you can move forward freely. The universe operates on a principle of balance. Every action creates reaction. Every energy given requires energy returned. When souls interact across lifetimes, they accumulate karmic debts, obligations that transcend the boundaries of single incarnations. And the universe's accounting system never forgets. If you cannot stop thinking about someone, and the thoughts carry a heavy quality, guilt, shame, resentment, obligation, fear, this is often karmic debt making itself known. Your soul is being pressed to address what remains unbalanced between you. Let me describe the sensory experience of karmic debt, so you can distinguish it from other forms of connection. When you think about this person, you feel a weight in your body. Not the pleasant warmth of soul recognition or the excitement of telepathic bonding. This feels like carrying stones in your chest. Your shoulders might literally ache. Your jaw clenches involuntarily. Breathing feels slightly more difficult, as if the air has become denser around you. These physical manifestations are your body responding to energetic imbalance. The debt is so real, so tangible, that it creates actual resistance in your physical form. Karmic debt can take many forms. Perhaps in a past life you betrayed this person. Maybe you abandoned them when they needed you most. You might have caused them harm through action or inaction. Or perhaps they harmed you, and the debt flows in the opposite direction. Either way, the ledger is unbalanced, and both your souls know it at the deepest level. This is why you can't stop thinking about them. Your higher self is attempting to bring the debt to conscious awareness so it can be addressed and released. Here's what makes this particularly challenging. The current life circumstances might make settling the debt seem impossible or inappropriate. Maybe this person is no longer alive. Maybe they're married to someone else. Maybe they're on a different continent. Maybe you have no way to contact them. Your conscious mind sees these obstacles and feels helpless. But your soul doesn't care about logistics. It cares about balance. So how does one settle karmic debt when physical resolution isn't possible? Through energetic work. The chosen understand that karma operates primarily on the energetic plane. Physical action matters, but energetic correction matters more. You can release karmic debt through conscious spiritual practice, even without direct contact with the other person. This requires a specific protocol. First, in deep meditation or prayer, you must acknowledge the debt clearly. Speak it aloud if you're alone. I recognize that I carry unfinished business with name. I acknowledge that energy remains unbalanced between us. This verbal or mental acknowledgement activates the process of release. Second, you must feel the debt completely. Don't intellectualize or rationalize. Feel the weight of it. If guilt is present, feel the guilt fully. If shame exists, sit with the shame. If resentment burns, let it burn completely. Allow the emotional content of the debt to move through your body without resistance. This might take minutes or hours or multiple sessions. Third, you must offer energetic restitution. In your meditation, visualize yourself performing whatever action would balance the scales. If you betrayed them, visualize yourself being trustworthy. If you abandoned them, visualize yourself staying present. If you harmed them, visualize yourself healing them. The visualization must be so vivid that your nervous system cannot distinguish it from physical reality. Feel the corrective action as if it's actually occurring. Your energy field will respond accordingly. Finally, you must release them completely. State clearly, I release all karmic debt between myself and name. I forgive myself. I forgive them. The ledger is balanced. We are both free. Then visualize cutting an energetic cord that runs between your solar plexus and theirs. See it severed cleanly with spiritual scissors or a sword of light. Watch the cord dissolve. When karmic debt is successfully released, the constant thoughts stop. Not gradually, suddenly. You'll wake up one morning and realize you haven't thought about this person in hours or days. They lose the magnetic pull they once had over your mental landscape. This is your confirmation that the debt has been paid on the energetic level. But if the thoughts persist, even after attempting energetic release, it means either the release wasn't complete or there's additional work required. Some karmic debts are so substantial they cannot be cleared in a single session. They require ongoing practice over weeks or months. A woman once told me she couldn't stop thinking about her former business partner who had stolen from her years earlier. She tried everything: therapy, medication, distraction. Nothing worked. Then she learned about karmic debt. She began daily meditation sessions where she visualized forgiving him completely and cutting the energetic cords between them. For 2 weeks, nothing changed. Then, on day 15, she woke up and realized she felt nothing when thinking about him. The weight had lifted. 3 days later, she unexpectedly received a message from him apologizing for what he'd done. The universe confirmed the debt was settled. If someone fills your thoughts with a heavy quality you cannot shake, the chosen understand this is not punishment. It's an invitation to become free. The universe is showing you what needs to be balanced so you can move forward unencumbered. This is mercy, not cruelty. But there's yet another dimension to constant thought. that reveals something profound about your spiritual assignment in this lifetime. The fifth spiritual meaning: you are their guardian spirit in physical form. Here's a truth that will reorganize everything you thought you understood about free will and destiny. Sometimes, you cannot stop thinking about someone because you've been assigned to them. You are in this lifetime functioning as their guardian, a spiritual protector, operating through human consciousness. The universe doesn't work through official job assignments or formal contracts. It operates through energetic resonance and soul agreements made before birth. Before you incarnated into this physical body, your soul looked at the layout of this lifetime and volunteered for specific roles. One of those roles might be guardian to specific souls. When you serve as someone's guardian, their well-being becomes woven into your energetic programming. You think about them not because you're obsessed or codependent, but because you're monitoring their energy field. You're checking their spiritual vital signs from a distance. This manifests in highly specific ways that distinguish guardian awareness from other forms of connection. Here's how you know if you're functioning as someone's guardian. You sense when they're in danger, before they're consciously aware of it. Your stomach drops, your heart races. You feel urgent pressure to reach out to them immediately, and when you do, you often discover they were indeed facing some crisis, physical, emotional, or spiritual. You dream about them with remarkable frequency, and the dreams contain warnings or guidance. You see them standing at a crossroads. You watch them walking toward danger. You witness future scenarios that haven't yet manifested physically. These aren't random dreams. They're intelligence briefings from the spiritual realm about your assignment. When you pray or meditate, they frequently appear in your awareness. Even when you're focused on other matters, their face or name surfaces repeatedly. This isn't distraction. It's your higher self reminding you of your assignment. The thought itself is a prompt to send them energy, protection, or prayer. You experience their pain in your body. When they're suffering, you feel echoes of their suffering in your physical form. A headache when they're confused, chest tightness when they're heartbroken, stomach discomfort when they're anxious. Your nervous system has become attuned to theirs because you're functioning as an early warning system for their well-being. You have unexplainable knowledge about what they need, even when they haven't communicated it. You know they need encouragement at the exact moment they're doubting themselves. You know they need space when they're overwhelmed. You know they need challenge when they're becoming complacent. This knowledge doesn't come from analysis. It comes from direct energetic perception. Now, being someone's guardian doesn't mean you control their life or interfere with their free will. It means you hold space for them energetically. You keep a light burning in the spiritual realm that they can navigate toward when they're lost. You pray for them. You send them protective energy. You think good thoughts that create positive probability fields around them. And here's something beautiful. Guardianship is often reciprocal. The person you cannot stop thinking about may also be your guardian from a different angle. You protect them from certain frequencies of harm while they protect you from others. It's a mutual energetic agreement that serves both souls. But guardianship carries responsibility. If you sense someone needs help and you ignore the prompting, you've failed in your assignment. The universe won't punish you for this, but you'll feel the dissonance, that nagging guilt, that sense of having missed something important. Your soul knows when you've abandoned your post. A man once told me he kept thinking about his sister obsessively for 3 days straight. He dismissed it as anxiety, but the thoughts intensified. Finally, he called her. She answered sobbing, confessing she'd been planning to end her life that night. His call stopped her. His persistent thoughts weren't anxiety. They were his guardian assignment activating. His soul knew before his mind did that she needed intervention. If someone fills your thoughts persistently, and you feel a protective quality to the thoughts, a sense that you need to keep them safe somehow, you're likely serving as their guardian. Trust the prompting. Reach out. Send energy. Pray. Do whatever your guidance suggests. This is sacred work. But there's one more layer, perhaps the most challenging, that explains constant thought. The sixth spiritual meaning: mirror soul reflecting your unintegrated self. While everyone talks about twin flames and soulmates, few understand the phenomenon of the mirror soul, a person who reflects back to you the exact aspects of yourself you've refused to integrate. And when a mirror soul enters your life, you cannot stop thinking about them because you're actually obsessing over parts of yourself that need attention. This is where it gets psychologically and spiritually complex. The person who dominates your thoughts might not be important because of who they are, but because of what they represent about who you've been afraid to become. Let me break this down with precision. Every human being contains multitudes, countless potential versions of self that could be activated given the right circumstances. But most people only express a narrow band of their full spectrum. They develop certain traits while suppressing others. They become the responsible one while killing off their wild spontaneity, or they embrace their creativity while abandoning their logical precision. These unexpressed aspects don't disappear. They live in the shadow, Carl Jung's term for the parts of self we've rejected or denied. And when you meet someone who embodies these rejected aspects beautifully, your psyche becomes magnetized to them. You cannot stop thinking about them because you're actually encountering yourself, the version you could be if you integrated what they represent. This creates a specific pattern you'll recognize immediately. The person you think about constantly has qualities you simultaneously admire and resent. They do things you wish you could do, but have convinced yourself you can't. They live with a freedom you envy. They express emotions you've learned to suppress. They succeed in areas where you've given up. Your constant thoughts about them are actually your shadow self screaming, "Look at what's possible. Look at what you're capable of. Look at what you've abandoned." Here's the sensory experience of mirror soul recognition. When you think about this person, you feel a strange combination of attraction and irritation. You're drawn to them magnetically, but when you're actually around them, you feel uncomfortable. They trigger you. Small things they do spark disproportionate emotional reactions. They say something innocuous and you feel defensive. They succeed and you feel threatened. They're vulnerable and you feel exposed. This discomfort is your psyche trying to maintain the boundaries between your expressed self and your shadow. But the mirror soul keeps reflecting what you've tried to hide, and it's destabilizing. The universe sends mirror souls into your life precisely when you're ready, whether you feel ready or not, to integrate your shadow. They're not there to complete you romantically. They're there to force you to complete yourself psychologically and spiritually. So what do you do when you realize someone is a mirror soul? You do the work that terrifies you. You identify exactly what they embody that triggers you. Make a list. Be specific. Don't say they're confident. Say they speak their truth even when others disagree, and I've spent my life silencing my truth to keep peace. That's the real shadow content. Then you begin practicing the very qualities you've identified. If they're boldly creative and you've suppressed your creativity, you start creating. If they're emotionally expressive and you've numbed your emotions, you start feeling. If they're financially successful and you've made poverty noble, you start pursuing abundance without shame. As you integrate these shadow aspects, something miraculous occurs. The obsessive thoughts about the mirror soul diminish. You stop thinking about them constantly because you no longer need them as an external representation of what you're missing. You've become it yourself. A woman told me she couldn't stop thinking about a colleague who seemed to effortlessly balance career ambition with spiritual depth. The woman had always split these aspects, believing she had to choose between worldly success and spiritual purity. Her colleague proved both were possible simultaneously. Once she recognized this person as a mirror soul and began integrating her own ambition without spiritual guilt, the obsessive thoughts stopped. She didn't need the mirror anymore. She'd become what she was seeing. Mirror souls often disappear from your life once you've integrated the lesson they reflected. They move to different departments, cities, or life circumstances. This isn't rejection, it's completion. Their assignment is finished. You've taken back the projected aspects of self they were holding for you. But sometimes, after integration, mirror souls become genuine friends or partners, because now you're meeting them as whole people rather than as projections of your shadow. The relationship transforms from triggering to harmonious. If someone fills your thoughts and every time you think of them, you feel a mix of admiration and discomfort, they're likely a mirror soul. The universe isn't torturing you, It's showing you who you're meant to become. But there's one final spiritual meaning that surpasses all others in its power. The seventh spiritual meaning: you are being called to prayer. Everything I've shared until now has been building to this ultimate truth. When you cannot stop thinking about someone, you are being recruited by the universe as an intercessor. You are being called to the ancient sacred work of holding another soul in prayer. The chosen understand something that most people never grasp. Thought is the most powerful force in the universe. Focused thought, sustained over time, creates and alters reality itself. When your thoughts repeatedly return to someone, especially when you think of them with love, concern, or hope, you are performing spiritual work of the highest order. You're not being haunted by obsession. You're being drafted into divine service. Here's the mechanism. Every time you think about someone with positive intention, you're sending them energy through the quantum field that connects all consciousness. This energy creates protective fields around them, opens doors that seemed closed, shifts circumstances in their favor, and most importantly, reminds their soul, at levels they might not consciously recognize, that they are loved, seen, and supported. Prayer is not begging God to intervene. Prayer is aligning your consciousness with divine will and allowing that alignment to flow towards specific targets. When you pray for someone, you're not asking God to notice them. You're serving as a conduit through which divine energy can reach them more directly. And the universe chooses its intercessors very carefully. Not everyone is called to pray for everyone. You are specifically called to pray for the people you cannot stop thinking about. Your persistent thoughts are not distraction, they are assignment. Let me describe what intercessor calling feels like so you recognize it clearly. You wake up, and this person is your first thought, not because you're romantically interested or codependent, but because their well-being matters to you at a soul level. Throughout the day, they surface in your awareness like a gentle but insistent bell, reminding you to send them light. Before sleep, you think of them again, almost involuntarily, and you find yourself naturally wishing them peace, protection, and prosperity. This pattern, morning, throughout the day, evening, is the rhythm of intercessor assignment. You're being prompted to cover them in prayer during the key energetic transition points of the daily cycle. Now, here's what makes this particularly powerful. The person you're praying for doesn't need to know you're doing it. In fact, anonymous intercession is often most effective because there's no ego contaminating the energy exchange. You're not praying to be seen or appreciated. You're praying because your soul recognizes its assignment. But when you serve as intercessor for someone, specific things will happen that confirm your role. You'll think of them at random moments, and later discover those were precisely the moments they needed support. You thought of them at 2:33 p.m. while buying groceries, and they were in a difficult meeting at that exact time. Your prayer created an energetic cushion that helped them navigate the challenge more skillfully. You'll have dreams where you're protecting them, guiding them, or showing them a path forward. These aren't just dreams. They're actual spiritual work being done while your physical body sleeps. Your consciousness is meeting theirs on the astral plane and providing assistance your waking mind isn't aware of. You'll notice improvements in their life situation that seem disproportionate to their efforts. Doors open, opportunities appear, healing occurs. These aren't miracles. They're the result of concentrated prayer energy, creating favorable probability fields around them. And perhaps most remarkably, you'll feel a deep sense of peace when you think of them, even if their circumstances are difficult. This peace is your soul's confirmation that you're fulfilling your assignment. You're doing what you came here to do. The universe doesn't call just anyone to intercede for another soul. It chooses those with specific qualities. Energetic resilience. You can hold prayer focus without becoming depleted. Emotional maturity. You can care without attachment. And spiritual authority. You understand how to access and direct divine energy. If you possess these qualities and cannot stop thinking about someone, you are an intercessor. Accept the assignment. Stop fighting the thoughts. Instead, sanctify them. Every time this person enters your mind, pause for 3 seconds and send them a blessing. May you be protected. May you be guided. May you know peace. 3 seconds. That's all it takes. But those 3 seconds repeated multiple times daily, create an energetic force field around them that shapes outcomes at quantum levels. A woman told me she thought constantly about her estranged son for 7 years. She tried to stop. The thoughts hurt because they reminded her of their broken relationship, but finally she surrendered to the pattern. She turned every thought of him into prayer. Within 3 months, he reached out to reconnect. Within 6 months, their relationship had transformed. She later learned he'd been struggling with addiction during those 7 years, and multiple times he'd felt an unexplainable presence supporting him through the darkest moments. That presence was her prayers operating through the quantum field. If someone fills your mental landscape persistently, stop asking, "Why can't I stop thinking about them?" and start asking, "Why am I being called to pray for them?" That shift in question transforms everything. You move from victim to priest, from confusion to purpose, from obsession to sacred service. This is the highest spiritual meaning of constant thought. You're not weak. You're not confused. You're being used by the universe as a vessel through which divine love flows towards someone who needs it. Integration. What you must do now. You've walked through all 7 spiritual meanings. By now you recognize which one or which combination applies to your situation. That recognition alone has shifted your energy field. You're not the same person who started reading this. Understanding has created transformation at the cellular level. But understanding without action is just sophisticated procrastination. The universe has shown you why someone occupies your thoughts. Now you must respond appropriately. If there is soul recognition from past lives, acknowledge the connection consciously. You don't need to tell them. You don't need their validation, simply acknowledge internally. I recognize you from before. I honor whatever agreements our souls made. I release any expectation of how this must manifest in this lifetime. If they're a telepathic bond, practice conscious transmission. When you think of them, do so with intention. Send them specific energy, love, strength, clarity, rather than random thoughts. You're already connected energetically. Might as well use the connection purposefully. If you're being prepared for sacred union, do your inner work now. Don't wait for circumstances to align perfectly. Clear your wounds, raise your frequency. Become the version of yourself that can sustain sacred union without destroying it through unconscious patterns. If karmic debt exists, do the energetic release work. Don't carry debts across more lifetimes. Settle the accounts now through prayer, forgiveness, and energetic restitution. Free both yourself and them. If you're their guardian, take the assignment seriously. When you think of them, pause and check. Do they need protection, energy, prayer? Send what's needed. This is holy work. If they're a mirror soul, do the shadow integration. Identify what they reflect that you've rejected in yourself. Start embodying those qualities. Stop using them as an excuse to avoid becoming whole. And if you're being called to intercession, accept it. Turn every thought into prayer. You've been chosen for this. Don't waste the assignment questioning it. Pray. But here's something crucial I haven't said directly yet. Not all persistent thoughts require you to contact the person physically. Sometimes the entire work happens on the energetic plane. You do your inner work, you send your prayers, you honor the connection, and you never speak to them again in this lifetime. And that's perfect. The physical interaction isn't always the point. The universe doesn't always bring people into direct contact when they think of each other constantly. Sometimes the purpose of the connection is entirely energetic and spiritual. The work happens in the invisible realms, and physical reunion would actually diminish rather than enhance the purpose. So don't make the mistake of thinking that because you can't stop thinking about someone, you must reach out to them, confess feelings, or force some kind of physical connection. Sometimes the most spiritually mature response is to honor the connection completely without acting on it physically. You contain everything you need to work with these energies. The constant thoughts aren't a problem to solve. They're a tool you've been given, a spiritual technology. Use it wisely. Final transmission. Within the next 72 hours, something will happen that confirms everything you've read here. You'll think of this person, and within minutes or hours they'll contact you, or you'll have a dream so vivid it removes all doubt about the spiritual nature of the connection. Or you'll experience a physical sensation, sudden warmth in your chest, tingling at the crown of your head, that validates the energetic bond. Pay attention. The universe is listening to your new awareness. It will provide confirmation because you're now operating at a frequency that can receive it. And here's your final instruction. The next time this person enters your thoughts, don't dismiss it. Don't feel guilty. Don't try to distract yourself. Instead, place your hand on your heart, take 3 deep breaths and ask, what is my assignment here? How am I being called to serve? Listen to what arises. Trust the first response you receive. Then act on it. You're not confused. You're not obsessed. You're not weak. You are a chosen one who has been given a specific spiritual assignment involving another soul. The constant thoughts are your mission briefing, delivered in the only language the soul truly understands, the language of persistent, unshakable knowing. Honor what you know. Trust what you feel. The universe makes no mistakes with thought patterns. Every persistent thought carries meaning, purpose, and assignment. You've been called. Will you answer?